Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hello, Bob.
Tom, you there?
Hi. Okay, that was interesting.
All I saw was you leaning down. I don't know what happened with the power flickered here for half a second, so perhaps that was the issue.
Yeah, you were just stuck, and I was like waiting for you to do your thing, and you.
Yeah, yeah. There. Happy Friday, Tom.
That was a pretty reserved Bob. Interesting.
It was. You know, you can read my emotions each day.
Okay.
I wear it on my, my countenance as we start the program. Ooh, big word, countenance.
You have to look that up. Maybe Tim can look that up for us while we're.
He doesn't need to look that word up. Hey, Tom, we got another big day.
All right. Well, hold on one second. So I feel like we should welcome people a little bit. I mean, I think we're diving right into your big days, and I'm starting to think this show is just about what's the national holiday celebration.
Hey.
Although I did see somebody post on Facebook yesterday a different national holiday that you didn't share as one of.
There are a whole bunch each day. I cherry pick. I admit it.
Got it. Well, welcome everyone. This is today's Antidote, where we have a conversation around a topic. This week, our topic is about follow-up. And what we have started doing is, as we go through that, before we get into that conversation, Bob has been so kind to share with everyone what is the national holiday as kind of a good way to get the show started. And sometimes we're able to transition that into the conversation, and many times it's just a fun fact. So
this one's going to be a tough one to transfer into, but you can give it a shot, Tom.
All right.
It is National Wiggle Your Toes Day. That's right. National Wiggle Your Toes Day. It's not Wiggle Your Hands Day. It's not Wiggle Your Arms, not Wiggle Your Butt Day. It is National Wiggle Your Toes Day. Are you wiggling your toes right now, Tom?
I actually am.
I thought you would.
I was thinking, well, first I was trying to figure out, like, why are there press releases? Because you said you have to get media around this. That was one of the qualifications. Yes. And maybe there's some health benefit to wiggling your toes. Maybe that's
absolutely. It's a stress reliever.
It is?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you're stressed, I've done that before. I've been in difficult meetings. And when you have to consciously think about wiggling your toes, it lessens the stress. It also, I believe, it makes the blood circulate all through your body. Your toes are the farthest away from your heart, usually. So you're getting some health benefits.
Are they further than your arms, fingers? If you stretch your arms out, are they?
You could do that. That would, but anything to like compress and expand it. Hey, I'm just saying, Tom, if you wiggled your toes every day 10 times, you'd feel better about the whole world.
Well, and here's something else. Watch this. If every time you wiggle your toes, you did a follow-up outreach to someone, how much better would that be? Right?
I think it's my favorite part of the show now. It's watching you do these great transitions.
Well, I think
the best part is people may think that I tell you what the day is in advance. I have never told Tom the day at all.
Never.
He's working completely unawares.
It's like a stand-up show, sort of.
In some ways, it is more like improv.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure you could call this comedy. I mean, I think we think it's funny. Everybody else is probably like.
I think there are people out there who think it's funny.
Okay, if you think it's funny, please share in the comments, because it would be nice to know if you find some comedy in what we do. Hopefully, not too much. That there is some value outside of just a good laugh in the morning. or whenever you get a chance to watch this.
That's what we should have called our program, A Good Laugh in the Morning. Oh, wait, can you hear the fire engine?
Yes.
Yeah. It's okay. Everything's all right. There's a firehouse nearby.
Somebody's not having a good laugh in the morning, that's for sure.
No.
If the fire truck is headed their way. So as I mentioned, our conversation is about follow-up. And of course, I tried to tie that into when the national holiday. So wiggle your toes. When you wiggle your toes, try to do follow-up. And I'm going to jump in here just because I started in that direction. I think as we wrap up this week, I think one of the challenges and one of the ones that I've struggled with is creating a routine for follow-up. And maybe something as silly or as simple as, hey, every time I wiggle my toes, I need to stop and I need to follow up with someone. Because I think one of the biggest challenges is there's all these ways that you can follow up and different messages that you could send and different things that you could do. And yet, if we don't have a plan, we likely won't do any of them. And that was something that struck me this week was that without a plan, it's going to be really hard to have any success with your follow-up because it's going to be a shotgun approach. And that can work as long as you're aware of it. But even with, as you mentioned, spin your Rolodex on your phone and see where it lands, that is at least a plan, as long as you determine, well, how many times a day or a week am I going to do that? I think so often we don't have that plan in place, and it becomes a bigger challenge to figure out how to do it. I can remember back when I was doing fundraising, I had my list of top prospects, and I had a very specific, I was going to reach out to my top ones 5 times, and one time I had to visit them in person. My next group I had to be in touch with 4 times, and I had to make sure that I either ran into them at an event because I saw them a lot and had a specific conversation about what was going on. Or it was just, hey, I need to have 3 connections with them because of
over the course of a calendar year, right? Yeah. Okay.
Correct. And
just not all of us are fundraising people. So
true.
sometimes I have to interpret the language.
Okay. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate that.
But it's the same. It's the same for a small business.
Absolutely.
You've got to commit to it. And I think what you said is really important. There's got to be some sort of pattern and some sort of trigger and some sort of sequence that you say, I'm going to do this. And one of the ones, Tom, that I don't think is as powerful as people think is, I think anything short of a phone call is really cheating in some ways. I find that phone calls really do make the big difference. It's harder to find excuses to call someone, but I would call someone this month happily and say, hey, just checking in. It's August. Oh, wow, you're still working in August. You didn't get a vacation yet? Or I guess you went earlier in the year. Oh, yeah, we're leaving next week. Oh, where are you going? I want to have one-on-one conversation because some people say, oh, I do email follow-up. I send out an email newsletter every week. That's great, but that's not like face-to-face. That's not like one-on-one conversation. I think sometimes, I was talking to someone the other day and they were like, oh, I post on Facebook every day and Instagram every day. That's my follow-up. Like, I'm not sure that's really getting you as far as you can go. It is follow-up, yes, but I think there's got to be one-on-one communication. Like when you said you follow up with your high-level group of donors, you want to have one in-person contact with them every year. That's where the activity happened, right? Sure.
Well, because you have a very different conversation, and it's a very different connection than. And typically most of my notes to those people were personal handwritten notes, sometimes they were an email maybe, but they were a very personal email, like I was attaching an article to it as a way to say, this is specifically for you. This is not just the broad blast that I'm sending out to everyone. This is something that I'm mentioning something that is personal to you and sharing something that directly will add value to where you're at.
Right. And I think dealing with donors is probably harder than selling a product or service because what they're giving, what they're getting in return for what they give is really not always a one-to-one.
It's different.
If you give $100,000 to help the science lab expand, it's not the same as $100,000 to get a new Maserati. And now you can go out and drive your Maserati for 3 years and tell everyone, look, I have a Maserati.
Is that your secret car that you want, is a Maserati?
I couldn't even tell you what a Maserati looks like. I just know there's someone out there with the Maserati that someone was talking to me about yesterday, and it popped into my head.
Well, I think that they're similar. They solve a challenge.
Okay.
The donation is solving the challenge of you want to help other people. The Maserati is solving the challenge of I want to help myself. It's okay. I mean, we need solutions. Whether a Maserati is an extreme example.
Yes.
I need to go out and buy glasses,
right?
Because I need to see better. That's something that I'm doing for myself, and probably good for others, especially when I'm driving.
Yes.
That I can see where I'm going. So I think it's just a different end result that you're trying to accomplish, and yet it's a very similar process. You still have to find value in what you're donating to or buying to make it worth giving your resources for it.
Yeah. So, Tom, as we get to the end of the week, what's that one thing for you?
Yeah, I think when we talk about follow-up, I think that, and I wrote a little bit about this on LinkedIn the other day, that it's not just about the sale. And I think that, to me, maybe is the message that if I can leave for this week on follow-up, it's about the connection. And that when you make the connection, the sale will happen. You talked about it yesterday when you sort of shared our how we met, how we connected, how you followed up with me and we followed up with each other, and then found something much more valuable than just a client, right? Because either one of us could have been a client of the others. And it would have been very easy to say at any point, hey, Bob, why don't you just, you can become my client and we'll have breakfast once a month and we'll go through your challenges. Or you could have said, hey, Tom, you know what? I know.
Tom, you know me well enough that once a month wouldn't have covered my challenges. I think once an hour is what we're.
It would have just been a long breakfast, which some of ours were.
Yeah, that would have been when Panera opens at 6 and we shut the place down at 10 p.m.
Correct. And you could have said to me, Tom, I know you're working and you need some help on your marketing. Let's work on this. And this is what the agreement were. Yet we never did that. And I think that's one of the things to consider is, are you just getting the sale or are you creating a longtime customer? And yes, direct outreach, asking for the sale on a regular basis will occasionally work. You're just going to have to reach out to a lot of people. When you build a relationship, the customer comes back because of the relationship and the value you add, not just the product you offer or the service that you offer. And I think that if we can keep that in mind as we do our follow-up, that we're creating relationships and that those relationships are going to lead to something likely much more significant than a one-time purchase. We are creating, I know right now, my coach that, because usually they go through a cycle. She has a 6-month or a year-long program or whatever. And pretty much know that if she offers it, there's a good chance I'm going to be involved because I know the value I'm getting. I know the relationship that she has and we have created. And I know how much it has helped me. And so that relationship she created was more than just a one-time, hey, sign up for this course. It ended up being 3 or 4 different engagements that have greatly helped me figure out how to move forward along my business. And I think that's the difference. Yes, you can do a lot of one-time sales, or you can build relationships and have customers that will return on a regular basis.
I like that a lot. The one thing I would add to it, Tom, is don't be afraid to pick up the phone and make a call to people. It is often the easiest, quickest way to do follow-up. just call the person. Hey, how's it going? And see where it goes. Not to sell them, not to convince them to buy, but just to start building that relationship. Because and especially if you hear of someone who's had an issue. I heard a couple weeks ago about a woman who had a really bad bike accident that I had known socially a little bit. And I called her. I'm like, I hope I'm not bothering. She's like, no, Bob, it's great to hear from you. We talked for probably 20 minutes. She shared with me some things about the experience that, she had known I had been sick at one point. And she was like, this is one of the best calls I've ever had. It was just so nice of you to take time out of your day. I guarantee somewhere down the road, I leverage that in some really useful way. She will connect me to someone. She will do something on a board that I'm running. She will, we established a real relationship over that phone call because it's like, Bob, it's so nice of you to check in on me. And this is someone I saw once a month at a meeting. This is not someone that I've ever had coffee with. I've never been one-on-one with this person. But when I called her, it was just, hey, I heard this happened. How are you? And I called her. I didn't send her the email. I didn't text her. I actually picked up the telephone,
Sure.
Which, one of the things we're finding, and the research is pretty clear, is that most people under 40 are reluctant to pick up the phone.
They don't feel the need. They can text you, or they can
Correct.
instant message you, or they.
And I think there's a difference. I really maintain. I think texting this person, hey, thinking of you, heard you're having a hard time. If I can do anything, let me know. She'd be like, hey, thanks. That's great, Bob. But when I called, she walked through what happened. Oh, what about this? What about this? And we started to share common experience.
Sure.
And I think that's part of it. And I think we've got to not be afraid. I think 3 phone follow-ups are probably better than 20 emails. I really do.
I think that's good. I think it's a good one thing. And I think it's something that people need to consider as a part of, their plan. And I would just add to all of that is that having a plan is a key piece of it, whatever that plan might be. And again, whether it's just, I'm going to call 3 people every day, whether it's, I have to call 3 people once, over the course of the week, at least you have set up and created a routine that you can measure and evaluate and figure out, is it as effective as you want it to be, or do you need to shift and do something a little bit different? And as we talk,
oh, sorry, go ahead. I thought you took a pause.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Tom, what if I can't create a plan, or I don't know where to start with a plan? What if I've tried different things and follow-up always falls off my plate? What should I do?
Funny you should ask that question. That's one of the things that we help people figure out, among many other things that they struggle with. It might be, why am I afraid to send out an invoice? Why am I worried about the little things and I don't make time for the big things that move my organization forward? I think these are all challenges that leaders, nonprofit professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs deal with on a regular basis. So our antidote for that is to find your renegade way in 90 days. It's a program we're going to launching on Monday officially, that you can get involved in, but we wanted to give our close listeners a heads up. That is an opportunity for you to connect with us. And in over 90 days, as you wrap up the final quarter, wrap up the end of the year, to really solve a challenge that you're facing. And our idea is that we are going to help you identify what is that challenge. And then we're going to work through strategies that you can consider, and then help you as you act, and then recalibrate to make sure that whatever it is you're doing is getting you to the point you want it to get. And then, because we love to celebrate, we'll celebrate that and identify what the next step is along that pathway. So if that's something you're interested in, or you think might add value to the end of your year, please feel free to reach out to Bob and I, because we will get started in September, right after Labor Day. And you want to get started right away and get a discount? You can get started right away. Just reach out right now. Actually, you could literally sign up today and have your forgot what we call it. Have your initial launch call
Yes.
Today, if you want it, because I could make some
Our
time.
goal setting call, Tom.
Goal setting call. Thank you. So that we identify what the challenge is and set the goal for where you want to be. Because that is the key, is not only knowing where you are and why you're struggling with it, but where you want to be. Without that where you want to be, it's hard to figure out what the steps are along the way. And so often all we want to do is jump to where we want to be. And sometimes that jump is bigger than it could be.
Tom, look at that comment. We already got someone right now. I'm signing up. I'm in.
Awesome. It's great.
All it takes is, there you go.
And I think that this is an opportunity for you to have a significant difference, because I believe the fall is going to be as challenging, if not more, than the past year. There are a lot of things people are trying to figure out. And if you're trying to figure it out alone, it's going to be really difficult. But if you have someone who is there to reach out to, and again, we offer as a part of this, our unlimited laser solution sessions, that when you are stuck, you can reach out to Bob and I, schedule a session, and get unstuck right away and keep moving forward. Because I think there are going to be big challenges ahead for us. And there are also big opportunities. And you can choose to be someone who's going to move forward to take advantage of those opportunities, or be stuck by the challenges that you face. So there'll be much more information about that on our Renegade Success Network website. We'll have more information for everyone on Monday, may even be up a little bit earlier on our website. So please feel free to act now. The special deal runs through the 21st. And then after that, the price will change. And then you will get started with the rest of the group on September 7th, the day after Labor Day. So with that, we hope. Anything else you want to add to that, Bob?
No, I thought you did a beautiful job, Tom.
Thanks. I should go back and listen to the recording. So I can remember what I said.
I know the feeling.
And if you have further thoughts about follow-up, because follow-up is a big deal and it's a challenge for people, there's no doubt. Please feel free to share it in the comments of this, because we know that what you offer might be just the thing that somebody is looking for to get them started. And then if they need to put that together in a plan, the Find Your Renegade Way in 90 days is a great next step. So please feel free to add your comments here, or you can add them in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. It's easy to do. If you're not a member, join now. All you have to do is go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades. Now, it is a private group.
Here's the big part.
It is a private
People,
group.
let me explain to you. It's critical that you understand this. This is the most important thing you learned today. It is a private group.
Bob loves that for some reason. I'm not sure why, but while it's a private group, because we want to create a space where people can share the challenges they're facing with people who want to help them and want to help them figure out how to take that next step.
And support them.
And
one of the things we find is someone has an issue and people are like, oh, wow, that, have you considered this? What about this? Or I have a resource for you.
And I think the other big thing, you realize that you're not the only one that has that challenge, which so often is something that I think bogs us down. It's like, why am I the only one dealing with this and can't figure it out? Well, in reality, there are a lot of other people who are along the same pathway, who are struggling to figure it out, and they just need a little bit of help to take that next step. So to join, all you have to do is ask and tell us why you're a renegade. And then you could become a part of our growing community who are helping one another take their next step on their own unique pathway to success. So we hope that we will see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. If not, we'll see you Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of Today's Antidote. Have a great weekend, everyone.
I'm going to go Zorro style today. Look. Yeah. Nah, it doesn't work. How about?
It probably would have been better if you just did it and not explain that you're doing Zorro style and let people figure out.
I'm trying to find something at the end and I haven't found it yet. And it's starting to annoy me.
All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday morning. Here's some further information about our Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Carving your own path is tough. You want and need a community to offer you insights and advice, share inspiration, provide support, and save you time and money. But where do you find all that? Here's the easy answer: the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners identify their next steps. Here's some of what you will find at the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Just go to ringofrenegades.com and join today. Find and accomplish those next steps.